Middle Tennessee State University is a thriving institution making a name for itself in academics, sports, community service, and more. At MTSU's College of Education, within its Early Childhood Education Department, you can discover the HCBEI, Home and Community-Based Early Intervention Program. This agency serves our area with trained and skilled teachers known as interventionists who help children with special needs and their family cope with and adapt to everyday living to help ensure a bright future for the child. Amanda Dunlap, director of HCBEI, explains to us about the agency and the work they are doing.
Tennessee's Early Intervention System, or TEIS, is a statewide program under the Department of Education here in Tennessee. It is an umbrella program that provides services to children with developmental delays or disabilities from birth through age 2. We are an early intervention resource agency under Tennessee's Early Intervention System, meaning we provide the in-home developmental therapy services. Anyone in Tennessee can be eligible for the Home and Community-Based Early Intervention Program that has a child with a developmental delay or a special need. There are no income requirements, and the service is free to families who qualify. Children can either be born with a diagnosed disability at a certain level of prematurity, or if they're failing to meet developmental milestones and someone in the family's life has a concern about the child, whether it's the doctor or the daycare provider or the pediatrician, they can then make a referral to TEIS, who will start the process of screening and evaluation if necessary.
A child may have a developmental delay if he or she has fallen behind other children in one or more of the 5 major skill areas. Motor skills, which includes crawling, walking, and using their hands to play. Communication skills, babbling, indicating wants and needs, and talking. Cognitive skills, thinking skills including making choices and solving problems. Social skills, playing near other children or adults. Adaptive skills, taking care of one's needs.
In order to qualify for services in early intervention, children can be born with a particular condition, whether it's Down syndrome or some type of genetic disorder. They can also be diagnosed later with something like autism or just failing to meet developmental milestones. In Tennessee, we have a rather narrow definition, so we have to have children who have at least a 25% delay in 2 of the 5 developmental areas or a 40% delay in 1 area. When our program first started in 2010, and actually all the way up through June of this year, we provided services to the entire South Central District of Tennessee, which was 15 counties. This grant funding year, we decided to concentrate our service area to 5 counties because of the density of the 5 counties. We actually have most of our caseloads are in Williamson, Murray, and Rutherford counties, and our numbers now are higher than they've been since the program started.
Regina Moffitt-Ellis is an early interventionist who works with HCBEI. Regina and Amanda tell us about what is known as teachable moments and how this concept is implemented in their day-to-day work.
The way that we help our parents learn from those teachable moments or just expand on those teachable moments is that we would go into the family's home or wherever they're at and tell the parents, show me how you play with him, show me what goes on during mealtime, and we would sit back and watch to see what is actually going on. And whenever we see a moment, for example, if we're working on language development and the child wants extra milk in their cup, and the parent may just pour the milk in the child's cup, we will tell the parent, see, this is a teachable moment. You can encourage the child to tell you more. Sign milk or say milk in order to give him more. Instead of just giving it to him, that would be a teachable moment. And then from that, we would sit down and talk about other things that goes on within the home where they can build upon the language development. And most of the time, it's aha moments for the parents. They're like, oh, I didn't know that we can really do that, or I did not even think of that. That's something great to do because we're already doing it. We just need to build upon the language development.
Those learning opportunities or teachable moments happen all day, every day, all the time in the lives of families. And so we just want to kind of be standing on the outside, supporting them, coaching them, cheering them on to recognize those teachable moments and to empower them to know that, hey, I can take this moment and I can use those goals that we developed for my child and I can help him or her progress.
Traveling to the child in need and working with them in a familiar setting has its advantages. Amanda and Regina explain why.
One of the many advantages to our program being home-based is that research has shown that children learn best in their natural environment from familiar adults in familiar routines. So that is exactly what our program does. We meet children and families where they are, whether it is at their home, whether it is a child care provider, child care center, whether it's at a restaurant or a store, depending on what the family needs, whatever their natural environment is, whatever their normal daily routines and activities are, we want to meet them there. It provides an advantage because families don't have time to add one more thing to their schedule. Many of these families have children that have multiple diagnoses and they have multiple therapies going on, and so we want to be that service that comes in and supports that family and doesn't ask them to take an hour out of their day to do therapy.
The advantages of that is that you're meeting the family where they are at. You're not taking them out of their normal environment, but you're building on what is going on in their environment. You're able to see the concerns that they really have versus seeing them in a non-natural environment when they're explaining all this to us, but we can't really see what is going on. So you're able to see what is going on, the concerns that they are talking about, and then provide intervention based on what you see, based on what the child is doing, and based on what the family is already doing.
Partnering with a parent in teaching a child with special needs is a big part of an early interventionist job. Regina and Amanda explain to us about this process.
It's kind of a cliche term, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's certainly true when we deal with these families. We are going into their homes. They are allowing us into their space during their daily lives and routines, and we have to respect that. And we have to approach that with an open mind and very non-judgmental, and let the parents know that we are there as a support, as a resource. We are not there as a teacher, as an authority figure, or someone watching over their every move, telling them how to raise their child. Our goal is to empower those families to advocate for their children from day one. Some of these children are going to need services throughout the rest of their lives, and those families need to be prepared to be their child's strongest advocate. We're there until the child's third birthday. Our goal is that the families feel like they don't need us far before that time.
The way that I achieve being a supporter for the parent versus being an authoritative figure, I go in and let the family know that we are in this together. I am here to support what you are doing now, and to build upon what you are doing now. Like, you are the person in control of this situation. It is on you whether or not we see progress for your child, because you are the main person responsible to carry out these strategies throughout the week. And if you know they're not going to work, it is up to the parent to let me know, because I've let them know it doesn't matter what I think sometimes. It matters what they're going to be capable of doing, what they feel comfortable with doing, because they're in control of what goes on. I am there just to build upon what they are doing.
Amanda and Regina talk about the factors that led them into their careers as early interventionists.
When I was completing an internship requirement at the University of Kentucky, I did some work at the University of Kentucky Children's Hospital in the neonatal intensive care unit, and then the neonatal intensive care unit follow-up clinic, where children who had been discharged from the NICU came back at 4 months, 8 months, 12 months, and 24 months. So I knew from that experience that my passion was for very young children, particularly children who had started life with challenges. And while I love the preschool age and I enjoyed that position, I also understand the importance of intervening even earlier with children. That more and more research is showing that the earlier you start, the better.
I always knew that I wanted to work with children, so I thought that I wanted to be a teacher, so I have my degree to be a teacher. But after substitute teaching and just volunteering at different and within different classrooms, I noticed that it was not typical developing children that I wanted to work with. I wanted to work with the families. I wanted to work with children who had special needs, and I wanted to work with younger children. I wanted to start somewhere where I can impact the families so that they can help their children. So that has to be the field that I'm in now, in early intervention. So that is what brought me to the passion of working with children with special needs.
As director of MTSU's Home and Community-Based Early Intervention Program, Amanda knows that it takes a specialized education as well as a special person to do this work.
In an effort to raise the standards of service provision of early intervention in the state of Tennessee, Tennessee now requires that all early interventionists have at least a 4-year degree in early childhood special education, early childhood education, child development and family studies, and a few other very closely related fields. In that regard, when we do find someone who meets the educational qualifications, we look for people who are very personable, very comfortable in any situation, because we serve all socioeconomic status, all ethnicities, all abilities. We need people who are open-minded, non-judgmental, professional, and knowledgeable about child development, knowledgeable about special education, and knowledgeable about adult learning.
Des and Beth are parents of 2-year-old Colton. They talk about Colton's diagnosis and how they found out about the home-based community early intervention program.
It was on the 4th of July 3 years ago. I was watching him while she was working, while Beth was working, and he just started shaking. I didn't realize what was going on with him. I thought maybe he was cold. And then later on that afternoon, her mother saw the same shaking, and she was like, I think he may have seizures. So we took him to the emergency room, and after they saw what was going on, they tapped his spinal fluid, and then we went straight to Vanderbilt from there. And at that moment, he was diagnosed with a form of epilepsy called infantile spasms. And ever since then, we've been following up with therapy and getting them the right meds to try to fix everything.
We found out about the agency through TEIS, which we found out about them through the doctor. They've connected us with a lot of different people, a lot of different types of
Resources and stuff.
A lot of people.
One of the special people who is an interventionist is Amanda Fulton. Amanda talks about working with Colton and his parents and what they are doing to achieve Colton's developmental goals.
For all of our children, they have different IFSP goals that are written, and these are, to help them where they should be developmentally and to reach those milestones, and also the parents' concerns. So we sort of use that as our framework for what we, kind of work on and target. And so right now, we've really been working on mobility. And so that can be in all different levels. Our ultimate goal is to get him walking. But we've been working on all the different stair steps it takes to get there. So, at first it was just getting him, from crawling to cruising and pulling up, all those different things that it takes to get him mobile. And there's different things that he is really good at. So he is pulling up to the couch and cruising on these different areas. And so we're trying to take what he is doing and applying that to different methods to just increase his mobility, to different ways that we can help him to explore his environment. He's plenty capable of doing different things, and so we want to just expand on what he's doing and to really just help him and to help the family to be able to transition and just get around well. And so something right now we're working on is with his walker. And so Beth and Des, they're working on helping Colton go from just the kneeling to the standing. Lately he's been doing really well with just pulling up to his knees and walking around with his walker. And then so we're wanting to encourage him now to go from that kneeling position to a standing position. And so usually the way that's done is we let Colton kind of do his thing, get up to the walker himself, and then I model for Beth, different ways to help him transition to there, and then she tries it. Because that's really the way we work, is through coaching and modeling. You know, I'm here to help Colton to get where he needs to be, but ultimately I'm here to help for Beth and Des to help him. So by, you know, modeling for them and then coaching them kind of through it as they're doing it really helps to then help Colton, because it's a lot easier for them to carry that through when I'm not here. And so ultimately just trying to show them what can be done in different ways really will help them throughout when I'm not here. And then, you know, a lot of times it's just when I come in, it's, hey, how did that go last week? You know, we've been working on that. And then just asking, like, what have you tried? And how did that go? And then so if one way didn't work, well, like today we just be like, all right, how can we do this differently to help you get where you want to see him be? And so always, every time I come in, just get a recap on what's been going on, what's new, and then just trying to help them to see where they want him to be, and just working on that really team effort to ultimately help Colton reach his goals.
We'll work with all different types of routines and things to help him realize what it is that we're working on, and just going from one thing to another, anything from bath time and to snack time to nap time.
She gives suggestions about different techniques and toys and equipment that would probably get a different reaction out of him or more positive results. And she even made him a bib once with a bunch of little toys on it, and then each toy has different texture and lets him feel for it, and it makes him want to touch different things and feel different things, and that helped a lot too.
The advantages of the therapy being home-based and the bond that is built between the therapist and the family are discussed by Amanda, Des, and Beth.
Amanda coming into our environment, it helps in two ways. One, it helps on the transportation level. We don't have to go anywhere and get out of the house. And two, it gives him a familiarity with the surroundings. He knows where everything is, so he's comfortable. So it makes the therapy session a whole lot smoother.
Beth and Des are great. I would come and just talk to them every day if I could. You know, it's just really great to have that relationship with the families. Of course, you know, I love working with the children. You build that bond. But again, just the way we work and incorporating the family-parent engagement, it's having that relationship primarily with the families, because that really helps to all work together.
If I was to see other parents that needed help with their special needs kids, I would definitely recommend this agency.
Doing work that most people would find emotionally draining is very fulfilling for these dedicated early interventionists. The reward is watching a child grow and progress.
It's seeing these children make progress. You know, progress can be in all different levels. It may not, you know, from big to small. It may be that progress is just kind of reaching out now or opening their hands up more. Or for some children, it may be that child started crawling yesterday. You know, it's just seeing that change and just knowing that you're helping. And then a lot of times too, it's just the bond with these families.
What keeps my drive, what keeps me loving what I do, it could be 11:30 at night. All throughout the night, it may be a text message of a video that this child has started walking, or he is standing, or he is using words. Knowing that families are so excited when their baby just makes the small steps, that gives me the drive to be like, okay, this is what I love to do. This is what I want to continue to do, to help these families make a difference in their child's life. And it's not that, oh, I did a great job as a developmental therapist. It's the families knowing that we did this. I did this. I helped my child. I carried out these strategies every day, and this is the progress that we have made. Another thing that keeps me going is that when I have a child that's in the hospital and that's sick, and that family will call me and tell me this is what's going on, I'm worried, and I'm just there to be their friend, just to talk to them. So just being a part of their family, because we're not a developmental therapist after a few visits. We are family to them, and for them to trust us with so much, that's what keeps my drive going.
We try to really focus as a team, and one thing that we do as our team is every month when we come together, we talk about the good things that have happened, because this job is emotionally draining. You are giving a lot of yourself to this family. So when a visit ends, it doesn't mean that the early interventionist is finished. That family never leaves that early interventionist mind, because basically she has become part of that family. They have let her in to their home, and so they share their joys, they share their sadness, they share their anxiety with these early interventionists. And so we have to come together once in a while, and we share challenges, but we also always share the positives, and there are always far more positives shared and celebrations shared than there are challenges.
If you have concerns about a child from birth to 3 years old and would like to find out more about Tennessee's early intervention services, please call 1-800-852-7157 or visit www.tn.gov/edu/TEIS. You can also find out more about the MTSU Home and Community-Based Early Intervention Program by visiting www.mtsu.edu/HCBEI.